You may find this to be the absolute dumbest thing, but I don't care because this realization actually has helped me in my personal life and in my business. And I think I'm going to call this podcast something like What My Medicine Cabinet Taught Me About Productivity. Kind of strange, but hear me out. Okay. So I am somebody that loves beauty products. I love trying things. I love buying things. I love sampling, testing things out, whether it's skincare, products for my hair, makeup, whatever it is, shampoo, like all the things. And honestly, I don't mind this about myself because it is this very thing that kind of pushed me into starting a PR firm because I've always had a passion and a love for the beauty industry and products. And somebody I knew who was like super fabulous and had a sample closet in her home. She was a beauty publicist. And that's when I started asking, what is it that you do? Um, how do you work? How do you get paid? And when I realized that I would want to leave law and start my own PR firm versus going and getting a job somewhere and all that thing. So anybody who's been here for any amount of time has already heard this about me. But it brings things back to the beauty industry and my love of products. And I always have. And it's actually really funny because I was just shopping in this like professional to the trade kind of beauty store that's in my area with my best friend. And they were having this big Cyber Monday, Black Friday sale. And we were wandering around and they had this table of like all this closeout stuff that was just so like nobody wanted it. And I walk by and there is this little circular blue La Femme eyeshadow. Okay. This was the eyeshadow that my mom had in the 80s. That was like, I'm talking 80s blue, right? One circle. I mean, they must have been selling it for like 50 cents. Like that's how nobody wanted this. Anyway, and I walk by and I pick it up and I was like, oh my God, I almost bought it because it was so nostalgic for me. I used to smear it on my eyes and I thought that I looked so great. And I would show my mom, like, look, I'm wearing makeup. And she'd be like, oh dear, what are you doing? I mean, we're talking, I was probably 7 years old. Always, always loved makeup. I just think it's fun. It's fun to play. I also like to paint, right? And to me, makeup artistry is like your face is a canvas and you can kind of play with it and, all the things. So I love all of this to say I love products. So I have so much stuff, whether it is client samples or gift bags or industry, access or even just like a Lure beauty box. And then they have products that are on sale and they're like such a good deal. And I want to test it. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't buy this if it was like full price, but for this price, I'll give it a try. So I tend to use a lot of things. And my medicine cabinet is packed to the brim, my shower overflowing, not with water, but with products. And if I could show you my quote unquote back stock, my best friend was here the other day and she was like, this is insane. You have so much stuff. And I'm like, just pick whatever you want because clearly I am not going to get to it. I'm never going to use it. Just, grab something that interests you. So she grabbed a couple things, which made my heart so full. And anyway, and the funny thing is, I always say this, it's like, I don't get younger looking. I don't get better looking. It's just fun, I guess, at this point. But, you use these products and you hope that you notice something different. And it's all about consistency, which is also kind of a problem here. So what did this teach me about productivity? I will get something new and I'll be like excited to try it and I'll open it and it will just, be in the same category as a different serum that I have that I still haven't finished, or another product that I probably can't use now because if I'm going to be using this new version, I can't combine the two. So the other one will sit open, or I'll have a bunch of like shampoo, conditioner, body lotions, all the things in the shower. And when I get something new, I will just put it in the shower versus actually going in and either getting rid of something or finishing it. And so I made a conscious effort to not add anything new. We're still working on acquiring stuff. Okay. I still see something that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. I should get it and hang on to it, and I'll try it when I have some time. So I still have a little bit of like shiny object syndrome when it comes to buying something that comes my way that's kind of cool and interesting to me, or I've heard of it and I want to try it, or they had their Black Friday sale and I wanted to get it at a discount. But in terms of opening a product and adding it in to wherever I'm storing my stuff that I'm actively using, I realized I cannot keep doing that. I have to actually use up the products that I have. Now, this might be like so obvious to you, but when you are excited about a lot of different things, you might decide that you can't wait and you want to open something new and give it a try. That's how I am. And so it is hard for me to resist the temptation to open a brand new bottle of something, or a package or a little, container, and not use it until the thing that I'm currently using instead of this is done and used up. And if I don't love it and I don't plan to use it, pass it to someone else. And if I do, or it's expensive and I'm like, you know what, let me just finish it, I have to use the bottle, use the jar all the way until I buy a new one or until I open a new one. And the reason was visually, I could see the backlog of stuff that I had opened, and I had all of these half finished bottles, right? Like hyaluronic acid serum. I am working through 3 different bottles, and also once you open something, it starts to, the clock on how long you have to use it starts to decline. Once it's exposed to oxygen or it's used, you can't keep it as long as you can if it sits in the box on the shelf and it's got the expiration date. So visually, I am seeing the backlog of stuff because I am starting new things without actually finishing the thing that came before it. Do you see the complete, absolute tie in to projects and productivity? Um, that's also how I am when it comes to projects in my life or goals or things that I'm working on. I will start a lot of projects, whether it's a project around my house or it is, like organizing something or working on something in my garden. Sometimes I move plants around and relocate them, repot them. Sometimes I will just pull everything out and then move on to something else without finishing that task first. And when it comes to work, I have a lot of ideas, and I think that a lot of entrepreneurs are the same way. We get very excited about things that we think would be a really cool thing to implement in our business or a new business opportunity or idea we want to explore. And so we still have all of these open-ended things that haven't been completed, and we're now moving on to something else. And time is a finite resource, right? Just like when I have all these products, I only have one face and body, and I'm not going to be sitting home all day just slathering products on for the sake of finishing the bottle. So it doesn't make sense to open new things until the old things are used up and gone. And once I saw my medicine cabinet and my shower so overloaded with stuff, I mean, it is like embarrassing if somebody walks in the bathroom because the bottles are marching towards me like little soldiers, like, pick me, use me. And I have to make a concerted effort to say, okay, these 5 things that are out here, I have to use them up before I open something new, because unless they are gone, there's no need to start something new. And it is that decision, that concerted effort, that focus, like, okay, let's focus on completing this before we start something new. I had that light bulb moment. I was actually in the shower, that sort of like quiet white noise, nobody bothering you, um, cone of silence. My best thinking happens in there. And I haven't had it in a little while, but I have this waterproof notepad. It's actually kind of like rubber paper, and you can write on it with a pencil, and they're called shower notes. Um, Super cool. So I would write down all my ideas that I'd come up with in the shower. But it is when I realized in the shower, like, oh, things are starting to thin out a little bit. And I feel less mentally cluttered because there aren't so many physical things that are taking my attention, that are keeping me from finishing, let's call a bottle of shampoo or a bottle of shower gel, a goal, right? Once I decided I cannot move on to another task, to another bottle or whatever, until this one is done, gone, and out of here. And that decision alone and that focused effort, it sounds so dumb, but this is how it works for me now with productivity and things that I'm working on in my business, because I will not start a new project. I will not move on to something else. I'm still a work in progress, and I've mentioned before, I have ADD or ADHD. I don't know. I was just diagnosed with that general inattentive. Um, I get hyper focused on something when I'm very interested in it. Like I could sit outside in my garden and literally like pick all of the leaves off of my succulents that are not like healthy anymore, and you know pot plants and things that are just, I could get hyper fixated on it. But there are other things that I just absolutely, if I'm not interested, I cannot focus on it, and that's very challenging for me. So it is an effort to force myself to do, let's say, non-desired or less interesting tasks. And that's when I will sometimes get up and bounce to something else. And now I have all of these open loops, all of these loose ends that are not tied up. And that causes me more of a challenge to focus and actually get something done. So when I could visually see the overflow of products because I wasn't completing something all the way and throwing it out and eliminating it from something I'm thinking about and something that I'm housing and something that I'm trying to like work into my regular routine, it didn't require any more mental energy. I had more bandwidth, and in this case, also more medicine cabinet space for products that I wanted to try. And so that visual allowed me to also draw this parallel with productivity. So that's what my medicine cabinet taught me about productivity. I can't start something new that's maybe elective, not like client work. Client work gets done. But if it's something for me, like a new program or a new project that we want to launch, um, I can't open that loop without closing something else first. It's like building a bridge. When I have all of these things that are at a various levels of incomplete, right? I haven't completed a bunch of things that I'm working on. The mental weight and the lack of focus that it causes to me is really challenging. And then it's like this cycle of like, I can't focus on getting that done because I have so many things that I'm thinking about. So one of the ways that I've because I would start something and I'd be like, I have to start this because otherwise I'm going to forget about it. So I'm showing you right now, if you're listening to the podcast, you won't see it, but there is a page in my journal that's like a backlog page, back burner ideas. And I also keep it in my phone just to capture it somewhere where I will revisit it. And I will also assign it like a timeline, a little bit of like a revisit this in this, Q2. So I don't want to lose those ideas and that excitement for something new while I'm waiting to finish the other things that I have prioritized because they're half done or in some stage of being incomplete. or some various levels of completion. And I need to tackle that, check the box, and move on. And that feeling of getting something done. Like I have to tell you, when I throw away a bottle that I have used up, and I'm using every drop, I like flip them upside down, or if it's a tube, I will cut the end of it off. There's so much product that's inside that you're not getting when you squeeze it, right? So I'm actually like using every last drop. And this stuff's expensive, and I'm not a wasteful person. Depends who you ask, but I believe that I'm not. So when I can actually toss something, it feels really good because I finished something. To me, it's like a task. I'm done. I can move on. I get to try, and the little reward is I get to try something new. I get to try one of these products that I have in my back stock that I've been waiting to put in the shower or put in my medicine cabinet until I finish this other thing. So that gave me the visual that allowed me to draw this parallel with how I am focusing on the tasks ahead of me that are the most important or the biggest priority, or something that is just almost across the finish line. And if I just focus on it, I can finish it, check the box, get that going in my business or in my home or whatever, and implement it. And then I can finally start something new. And that's the reward, is when you have all these ideas that are very exciting to you, you have this shiny object syndrome. It's a lot of mental bandwidth to kind of manage. Where am I in this project? What is needed from me? When am I going to find time to work on it? How can I block out my calendar? When there are too many things, nothing gets done. And so that's my concerted effort, mental decision. Like you, Jen, cannot start something new, whether it's a project or a program you want to create, or a feature that you want to add to your, community, your programs. We can't implement that until the things that we have in the works are done, in the can, and ready to be, shipped. So, and part of that too is not getting in this perfection paralysis state. If you're wanting to just move on, and I'm never going to put something out that's like mediocre. It's going to be great. But sometimes I will not finish something because I don't have that focus, that mental bandwidth to give it 100% and make it absolutely perfect. Now, when I say to myself, it doesn't have to be perfect, it has to be completed, and we can iterate. That also helps me move things across the finish line. So I hope you see the parallel there with my medicine cabinet is overflowing and my little serum bottles are marching towards me like soldiers, asking to be used up and uh, finished, whatever. Um, and the visual um, clarity and the freedom in my mind that I get when my surfaces are cleared, when my to-do list is cleared, and I have my ideas that don't get stored in my head on a list, like back burner ideas, or ideas to explore at another time. They're still getting captured. I don't have to start them right now just because I came up with the idea, and I am committed to completing the things that are on my plate that we have decided are important, and freeing up my mental and emotional, and a lot of times bandwidth, and also my time. When you're able to check the box, move on, and it feels great, and now you can start something new that you're really excited about, like that new hyaluronic acid serum that's going to make your skin so plump and so hydrated, right? Or a brand new website, or a photo shoot, or whatever, right? Finish the 2 or 3 most important things on your list, see them through, and feel that lightness that comes from getting things done. All right, guys. Random tip, but I was just thinking about it. I hope you like it. Anyway, go out there, crush it this week. I'll be over here crushing it too. I'll be applying all my serums and thinking of how random it is that I just shared this with you. But I don't care. I thought it was useful. Anyway, go out there, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.